Coming to you from the New World, this is Denden Mushi Weekly. I am your host, Sammy, and joining me today is the last Russian spy.
Здравствуйте, я Riven.
And the Panda X Koala Express.
Before I say hi, that was an awesome intro, Riven. Hello, this is Divvens.
And this is the 16th episode of your official OJ podcast, where we discuss and review the latest One Piece chapter. Jesus. Alright, so the previous chapter, brief summary. Basically, last week, the chapter was mainly focused on Usopp and him deciding to stay and bravely fight Trey Ball and Sugar. We also get to see Kairos' transition from the murderer to the gladiator to the broken man in the last page. And we also get to confirm that Doflamingo has knowledge of someone being in disguise as himself, which connects to this chapter, actually. So, for this week, chapter 742, titled, I Will Always Be By Your Side. The cover page is basically, Nico Riven, reading to a bunch of alpacas, although they don't understand what she's saying, but they're snoring, so she might be, talking about physics and how dust particles can affect gravitational force, but...
No, she's reading a book called Stray Sheep. Look at that. She's reading them a story.
It's just a cover thing, man, that she's covering it, because she doesn't want, Russian spy and all. God damn it, man. Anyway, so what do you guys actually think of the cover page?
It was cute. I mean, if it has anything to do with Robin, the cover page, her reading is like the most common thing, because she always reads. And it reminds me a bit of that filler in the anime, where Luffy had taken interest in a book for a really, really short time, and everyone was like, oh, Luffy's taking interest in a book.
I actually love that scene. But yeah, I mean, I liked it, and does it seem like she's in Subway Archipelago, or am I imagining things? Even though, like, they're snoring, there are bubbles around.
No, the bubbles are there snoring.
Yeah, it's
bubbles.
The snoring bubbles. But
What kind of fucking...
I love how there's sheep in the bubbles. It's sheep, and there's sheep inside the bubbles.
God damn it, Oda, stupid. He's high, I swear to God.
It wasn't even him, but
It was a request from someone.
Yeah, from Maru-chan.
No, I mean, the whole portrayal of how he drew the bubbles is very fascinating. It's just kind of emphasized, but that's how we love Oda. So.
See, one has a sheep, it looks like a billy goat.
It looks like a bird. Okay, I'm seeing things. Never mind.
Maybe he wants you to see things. Although I liked Robin more in the previous cover, with her military outfit and stuff.
That's a given, bro. That's a given.
Yeah, it's true. Although she does look nice in glasses.
Really nice, yes.
It reminds me that I need to get new glasses.
I do like Riven in glasses as well as I like Robin in glasses, so I don't know what she's trying to read for the alpacas, but personally, I would have preferred if there were llamas, just for jokes. But that didn't happen. I'm a bit disappointed.
When I saw them, I thought it was llamas, and I was going to
I read it.
Yeah, I was going to go and tell Amma that, look, you made a special appearance in One Piece, but sadly they were alpacas.
I was so freaking excited for a second, and then I see I wanted to just delete it and just pretend that there were llamas, but you can't do that sometimes.
Just pretend that it was a mistranslation.
We can always do that. We always do that, actually. So, mistranslation. That's it for the cover page. I liked it. Not my favorite, but I did really like it. It's in my top 3. Sanji, no, top 5, because it's gonna be for me, Zoro, Sanji's, and Frankie's. Those 3 are my favorites. Sanji looks like abusing animals, and Zoro all badass with the monkeys, and Frankie building toys for hamsters, and just, So, to move on to the actual content of this chapter, we're gonna start off with a summary of, chapter 742. Basically, Kairos' life takes a turn for the better when he meets Scarlet, who initially distrusts him, but comes around when he rescues her from pirates. She even faked her death so she can spend her life with him. And I had a discussion with Divvens saying that, her staying away just because she's trying to fake her death or something is not going to happen. But it did happen, so I got to give props to Divvens for predicting that. Also, then eventually they had a daughter who she named Rebecca, the Rebecca that we know. And love, yes, love. When Doflamingo took over, Kairos attempts to rescue King Riku from Doflamingo. He cuts off his leg and lunges at Doflamingo, only for Sugar to turn him into a toy. And then Kairos, now Thunder Soldier, flees the palace with Riku, who does not remember him. And then Kairos tries to protect Scarlet from danger, but tragically failed when Diamante shot her when she went to get food for Rebecca. Violet shook Kairos out of his flashback when they noticed that Gladius and some extra soldiers are heading towards Doflamingo, and with the element of surprise quickly slipping, the group prepares to attack Doflamingo. In the Colosseum, Burgess's attacks are weakening the Colosseum's foundations, with soldiers remarking that another strong attack will cause them to break. Diamante reveals himself as the culprit who killed Rebecca's mother right on her face, leaving her vulnerable and in shock, while Bartolomeo tries to stop Diamante from bullying Rebecca verbally. Frankie lies defeated by Doflamingo family and Vice Admiral Bastiel from the Marines, and is calling for Usopp in his head to save the day. Down at the hidden harbor, all the toys are silently rooting for Usopp to succeed, but he is shown to be unconscious. As a final farewell, Sugar puts the Tabasco ball in Usopp's mouth and makes him swallow it. That sounds so fucking wrong. But this causes Usopp to wake up screaming with a horrible expression on his face that terrifies Sugar so much to the point where she fainted. So, chapter initial thoughts. We're going to have it different this week. Just to save time and to conclude our thoughts on a quicker pace for you guys to enjoy the podcast more and have more attention for it, we're going to have our initial thoughts all at once. It'll be a discussion-based initial thoughts, and it'll be short and sweet and all that. So yeah, I don't want to speak about this chapter initially, so Div can speak about it for a bit.
Well, I made it pretty clear on OJ how much I like this chapter. The first thing I can say was the word sad, rather. Because Kairos's and Scarlet's flashback was just so emotional. In fact, the scene where Scarlet died, he was just holding her, and he said that he can't even feel the warmth going away from her body and stuff. That just, Oda can be so poetic at times. I know even he said that he won't write romantic stories related to Straw Hats, but this does show that Oda can write beautiful romantic stories as well. He doesn't need 10 chapters to explain it. He doesn't need even half a chapter to explain it. It was just 3 pages in total, the whole story with with Scarlet and Kairos, and it was so wonderful.
It's the same mistake in the freaking discussion.
Yeah, I know. It's just that I get their names mixed up, and the fact that Kairos was not willing to hold Rebecca just without gloves and stuff because he thought that he would get her tainted by his, the whole past as him as a criminal and stuff. It was
I really enjoyed how the flashback was portrayed. I did think it was just being forced, having different perspectives again and again and again. But the content was actually enjoyable this week for me because it was not only just emotional, but at the same time informative. But I did want to focus on the emotional part because the poetry with how Scarlet and Kairos became one together and whatnot, it was kind of forced a little bit with how one page they're fighting, and then the next page Riku decides to announce that Scarlet was dead. But at the same time, I did like how it was transitioning. I did like the fast pace with the flashback. But the main thing I loved was just basically like what Div said, holding feeling the arms of her lover, and at the same time not feeling anything, not the warmth, not the thoughts, not even knowing who this person is. That at the last minutes for you to experience that, to see it in front of your eyes and not know what's going on. It's tragic for Scarlet as much as it is tragic for Kairos. So that actually did make me sad, legitimately. Did not cry, but I was really sad.
Yeah, I did like how, I mean, they don't mention it so much in this chapter, but, I mean, you see in the flashback that Kairos, would always hold Rebecca with, gloves. He would never touch her directly. But you see... Huh?
Really?
Yeah. He puts on gloves specifically so he can touch her because he believes his hands are too soiled to hold her and to touch her. Mm-hmm. But when he's a toy, you can actually see him, like, holding her hand and walking her down the streets. I liked that transition. It's not so much mentioned, but you can tell that as a toy, he feels like he's different. Like, he has gloves on, he doesn't...
He's not the same soiled man that he was before. He's basically something else. He's just...
He's finding his redemption through being a toy. He's able to forgive himself a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he has, the goal of making sure Rebecca is protected. And that
now that everything takes a backstage because it's either do or die. So the whole thing about her being tainted and stuff has taken a total backstep.
Yeah, he no longer has the luxury of treating her, with gloves. Literally. She has to, take over and have responsibilities, and he has to make sure that she's around, that she avoids the Deathstroke of Doflamingo. Because...
And I did find Diamante to be too much of an asshole. Like, seriously, dude,
when Bartholomew says that, this barrier can't protect against verbal warfare, and Diamante just keeps going on, he just seems to be more, like, we know that now that Bartholomew is a good guy, but his trollish appearance at first, Diamante has overtaken even that in terms of how big of an asshole you are contest.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Diamante and Bartolomeo, they're both assholes in their own way, but Diamante is just, dude, I fucking hate him. Even though he's trashing a character that I don't really like, Rebecca. I never really liked Rebecca. But at the same time, the way he did it was she was sitting in the fucking ground in a ring, paralyzed. She couldn't even move. She said it herself, and she was just crying, shedding tears all day. And I thought that was just, look, when Oda makes me care about Rebecca, then he did a good job, in my opinion. So that's my way of showing you how much that part affected me. And also Jesus Burgess going ham, Sabo dodging, in my opinion, intentionally. So, the whole plan of exposing what's going on with Hack being underground now is about to be set in motion. So, basically, the tournament being interrupted is so fucking obvious right now. This place is gonna get destroyed and wrecked. Something is gonna happen.
Yeah.
The tournament is gonna get interrupted. Sabo's not really gonna care about the Devil Fruit too much. He's gonna go for it. Maybe gets it, maybe not. But it's not gonna be a defeat. It's not gonna be a win.
What I expect is going to happen? The Colosseum tournament is going to be gone, but the battle for the Mera Mera no Mi is still going to be on. So it's going to be like an all-out brawl at who gets first to the fruit.
Even with the people who are gonna get turned into humans, right? Because it's gonna be chaos. So
it's going to be total chaos. It's going to be Burgess and Sabo just fighting it out, and then Diamante is just like, what the hell has just happened? If they fall underground, the Diamante and Trebol are together, and all the toys who turn back to humans are going to go after Diamante and Trebol, because, of course, they are the Doflamingo family members.
Yeah.
But
what do you think about that, Riven?
The sharks, though, they're going to go into the actual open water, wouldn't they, if they fall down through?
No, they won't have any water.
They would actually... Okay, so this is how it's structured. The ring is basically...
I mean, it's above the factory, I know that much, but are there random little canals, to help move the shipments between the factory and the other ships?
You know what's going to make me laugh? Just one panel with just sharks barely trying to swim and just injured people just looking to the left and then, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, maybe everything is going to move underground. Who knows? The palace is going to collapse as well, and then because of Pika, and Zoro's
Dude,
fight.
reminds me of that one scene in a movie that I totally forgot the name of. Just one guy chilling, fixing something with his bird. Oh my god, you guys have to remember this. His pirate bird. And then he looks to the left, and then he sees a huge ass shark. And like, hi. I want to see that scene in a comedic way in One Piece. I would like that.
Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, but let's move on to the initial thoughts of the last part of the chapter. The most controversial part in history of One Piece, to be honest.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's the most controversial, but it is one of the top most controversial.
Okay, let's say just one of the most. All right, let's just go with one of the. Maybe because I mean, if I think of it, there are
in the
more
recent
things.
past, it's been one of the most controversial. That's true.
The last 4 arcs.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and since the time has begun. How about that? Let's go with that. Since the timestamp has begun, this has been going as it has created so many different opinions and so many discussions to the point where people don't want to discuss it anymore. Even in One Piece, OroJackson threads, they have discussed it so much that every time they post something about it, they say, "Oh God, I'm discussing this again. I don't want to. Just make it stop, please." And I can relate to that because I myself have made 2 threads about it, and I myself have been really tired. But nevertheless, my initial thoughts were, what the fuck is going on? Ha ha ha. Is this really happening? Why is his eyes so out of there? Is this possible? Is this humanly possible? Oh shit. Corona, sugar, face, all of a sudden, and then I see her passing out. The first thought in my head at that point was, alright, so the Underground World part is over. And it was over in a comedic way. And my opinion on that, based on this chapter, it's not that big of a deal, but based on last week's chapter, with how it was and how this turned out, it is a negative more than a positive. Because it had a lot of hype, it had a lot of seriousness with, the dwarves being stomped on, and just how freaking tragic / serious it was, and then it ends off with a comedic Usopp way. Some people liked it, some people loved it actually, from what I've read. Thought it was godlike, and some people had different opinions over it. But to me, I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, I wasn't expecting something too epic from Usopp because I know for a fact that Usopp was gonna get friggin' trashed down, and I am glad that we have moved on to the next part of the arc, which I'm looking forward to more than the other parts. But yeah, what do you guys think?
The first time I clicked on the page, it was only a part of the page, and it was actually Sugar's face, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Because the panel was too big. So eventually I shrunk it down, and I saw Usopp's face. And the only thing I could actually think of at the time was I didn't realize that Oda decided to make Ishishi into actual pictures. Because that's what it looks like.
You know what? Like, the way Oda portrayed it was very fucking weird. Like, it was over dramatic. But do you think the way Oda portrayed it was good, Riven? Like, the way his eyes were freaking snake-like and bleeding from his mouth from the Tatabasco and
his
so
gums and his nose.
Yeah, just all of that.
His eyes. I had a very, what the fuck is going on kind of a look. Like, are you serious? Did this just happen? No, I must have read this wrong. Let me back up and reread this again.
Yeah, I had a similar kind of reaction to Riven as well. Because
Same
it
here.
just
I have to
makes
read
you
it
feel that can this even be possible? Is it even for Usopp? Is this possible? But then when you get it, it was just like, oh man, this is just classic Usopp ending again. We should have seen this coming from a mile away.
I mean, we made jokes about it. Me, Divvens, and a bunch of people. We know that he's gonna get destroyed, and then all of a sudden he's gonna do something stupid, and Sugar is gonna she's gonna pass out. And I'm like, yeah. But for it to actually happen, it's kind of similar to how Sabo was introduced. We all knew he was gonna come back sooner rather than later. Actually,
no, I don't want this compared to Sabo's return, because that was a beautifully good thing, and this was complete bullshit.
In your opinion, opinions are it's fine.
Yeah.
It's your.
There's a clash with the whole Usopp thing, with the whole underground thing. One Piece fan base is split into three. Okay, one is the guys who accept the underground part, like who understand and accept and they're fine with it. The other one is the ones who understand it's Usopp but still dislike what's going on. And the third part is people who completely hate what's happening. I'm in the center one because I have shown my disagreements and anger against what's happening with the underground. But it's, I think, mostly to people who dislike it totally. I think it's just because of the fact that the underground thing got so much panel time rather than the other things which people want to see. Like, there's one member...
I don't think so, because, if this were a decent... I mean, I've said throughout this entire arc that my favorite parts are always going to be the Colosseum. And I pay more attention to those parts, and I really, keep track of that a lot more than I really care about, what Sanji was doing at the time, or what Zoro was doing at the time. The Zoro v. Pika fight is not as interesting to me as what's going on in the Colosseum. I accept that. If this was even vaguely on even Zoro versus Pika, or, Luffy sitting there completely, impatient, wanting to go beat the shit out of Doflamingo, that would be one thing. But every step of the way, from the time that they first, went through the tunnels, Usopp has he grates on me for this arc. It's like he purposefully is refusing to move forward. Time and time again.
Yeah, there is this member, right? Don Quixote Doflamingo on OroJackson. He made a point, I think it was last week or last to last week, on one of the chapter threads that Usopp doesn't have that much power yet, at least to pull the fan base and carry One Piece on his own for continuous back-to-back chapters, which has been happening because Usopp is the one who is getting a lot of screen time, and the whole underground thing was getting a lot of screen time. I tried explaining that the underground matter is one of the most important things in the whole of Dressrosa arc, because it, plot-wise, Sugar's going was very important. But I can see where some fans are coming, since, people don't want to invest so much time in something which they can predict 100% how it's going to go. They're more interested in seeing bigger characters than Usopp, but it's just, I think some people are just unhappy with some of the pacing, because before they were happy with it when it was going 25% this, 25% this, 25% this, but from the last 3 to 4 chapters it was 100% of the underground, so that's where I guess some people got annoyed.
But there's a difference though, because, I understand that it's probably one of the most important, developments of this arc, the knocking out Sugar is extremely important, and it's probably the biggest turning point we're gonna see. But, I'm reading it, and I'm trying to understand it, and it's just...
That it ended in a comedic way. It was just no to you, right?
No, I mean, this is what happens to Usopp. He just cowers out, and he's trying to run the other way, and then he runs into something entirely fortuitous. Like you have in the CP9 arc, when they're at, Enies Lobby.
Okay. Let me stop you right there. I'm sorry.
What?
But you're starting to discuss One Piece and the initial thoughts. So let's just...
I'm sorry. All right. So, initial thoughts. As much as I can see how people love the fact that, it's a classic Usopp, it's how he would, how he works and how this is his, contribution as a Straw Hat, I really am disappointed. I'm disappointed that this is how he, he's making that giant, massive keystone that turns everything and turns the tide in their favor is by something as stupid as his eyes turning into Ishishi.
Yeah, okay. I do understand where Riven is coming from, because the last page just caught me off guard. I was like, is this really happening? Is Sugar a pirate who has been someone who has been a pirate for 10 plus years? Is she really going to be knocked out by something so easy? So my first reaction was also WTF. But once you reread it 3 to 4 times, it does, sink in.
So, I do agree with both Divvens and Riven, because what Riven said, this whole scenario, this importance, this significance, has ended with the most. It's not even comedic anymore. It's just okay. So one person said it in a good way. Oda can do very it can add comedy to scenes very well, but sometimes he does not. Sometimes it's out of place, and that has happened before. One time in the Kaku versus Zoro fight, although like most of them were comedic, but at the same time one scene was in particular not comedic. So basically, what we're trying to say is it was out of place, understandably, and at the same time, even though it's Usopp, and Usopp was not going to beat Trey Ball and Sugar at the same time, Usopp being, destroyed is realistic, but at the same time, we wanted more. And we didn't get more. I do have one thing that I want to say. I wonder what Usopp is going to do next, or is he even going to do anything next? But I'll just try to not hate on it, directly for the time being, because I like to just wait until everything is in front of me. And when everything is in front of me, and if I think that the whole picture is not what I wanted it to be, I will fucking rant. But for the time being, I'll just wait and see what Oda does. And until then, yeah. But we're gonna move on from the initial thoughts. It went a bit longer than we wanted, but at the same time, we did have a lot of good points. So we'll just move on to the key points, actually. Alright, so the first key point is the Kairos flashback. The second key point is the Palace Coliseum and what's going on there, and the Usopp and Frankie being defeated and Sugar being knocked out as the third key point. So the first key point, Kairos flashback, we already talked about it properly in the initial thoughts, but let's give it a review. Let's just review it. And for this key point, we just get to see how King Riku, actually, he is the one who participated. He is the one who scarred Kairos. We predicted that. I kind of didn't want it to happen, even though I predicted it, but at the same time, it did happen, and Oda gave us justification as to how Riku was capable of scarring someone as strong as Kairos. And then the transition between Kairos's and Scarlet's relationship, and Kairos' failure at rescuing King Riku, and the reveal of how he turned into a toy. So what do you guys think of King Riku's doing? Was it nice for King Riku to be the one who opens the mind of Kairos? Did you like it? Did you want someone else? Did you want Whitebeard to scar?
No. Whitebeard to scar was Tax Fish.
Wasn't it?
No. Mine was Gold Roger to scar him. But it does make sense, because what did Kairos say? He said that Riku said that Kairos had trained him. So it's more like Kairos was his trainer, instructor kind of thing. So, and once he noticed that it is King Riku, he went easy on him. So that's why this scar came, and then he was like, leave this. This shows that you're still human, and you're just locking yourself up in this Colosseum. Come and join me outside and stuff. And then he gave him the position of the captain of the Dressrosa army. And, it was a good transition. Like, you see him using his ill style. He was like, let people forget about me. Why can't they do that? Why do I still have my past? He turned all that negative energy into positive to become a soldier, and then he had fans,
A very damn good soldier who
wiped out a whole pirate ship to save the princess. And, the best thing, I did say this in my I forgot the initial thoughts, okay. Well, how can I forget a segment's name? Never mind. I didn't mention this in the initial thoughts, but the best thing I liked about Scarlet and Riku's... Oh my god, what am I doing? Scarlet and Kairos's... Something is wrong with me. It was Rebecca and Riku. Oh my god.
The name.
Yeah, okay. It's just all confusing, okay? Bear with me, I am bad with names. So, Scarlet and Kairos's, the love story. The best part of it is just 4 panels where she starts cooking for Kairos and gives him food, and then there's the next panel showing the difference in the past and now. Like, before she used to just sit on the, what's that called? A swing, which was tied to the tree, and now she was sitting next to Kairos. It was just beautifully done. Just that 4 panels showed everything you would, and then the thing that she chose to die just because people wouldn't accept her being with Kairos. It was all a good twist of turns, because we all already expected why is she not living in the palace? Why is she outside? She's supposed to be the royalty. And then we got answer to all of this. At least it wasn't King Riku hating on it. Though I did predict a love story between Scarlet and Kairos, but I didn't predict something like she choosing to be sacked. I did expect Riku maybe announcing her daughter dead.
How Riku is going to be the asshole.
Yeah. I was like, Riku is going to say that, no, I don't have any daughter. She's dead for me and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't see that happening, but at the same time, Div did, because in my head, I thought Scarlet was a simplistic, a person of royalty who loves to live a life, with flowers and just in a very moderate place. And, I kind of like that, but at the same time, we get what Div wanted and what Div speculated, which was, the reason behind her, going that route was because the people would not like her marrying, Kairos, which as well is nice. I did find it a bit just really quick, just one page, things were about to be decided, and the next page, she is dead, blah, 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 and just boom. But it does.
Seriously, when I was reading, I'm sitting there scrolling down the page, and I'm like, oh, I must have missed it. I didn't scroll, I scrolled too fast. Let me go back and finish reading the page, and I'm like, wait, there's nothing there. There's no transition. It's just immediate. Oh, look,
but
they'll never accept us. Boom, dead. We've now eloped.
Yeah, you know why that happened though? Because Sammy, you already said that the flashback got a lot of panel time, didn't it? That was your opinion was. So if it would have been longer, it would have taken a whole chapter, and then people would be whining that.
Look, well, I am not complaining. I actually like that. And second of all, it really gives you a good meaning as to what flashback is. And I like that.
No, flashbacks are not as disjointed as that insane start.
I mean,
if you put it in the same page, it's fine, because then you can see that it's supposed to be a jump. But if you put it between pages, you have people wondering if you missed something.
No, but it's the same page, right? She says in one panel, she's like, Father, I cannot become one with this man. I will die. And then the next page, she actually dies. I first thought she actually died. I didn't predict it was a fake. And then I read Riku's dialogue that you're no longer part of the royal family. And there was, oh my god, that would have been quite a plot twist.
That's actually what I thought. I thought she was dead at first. I was trying to be nice, but I couldn't because. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
it was weird.
3 chapters of Rebecca's flashback?
Yes.
I mean, and they can't even give a full chapter to this actually fantastic and touching story.
That's true.
That would probably
I'm okay with
all of us start, tearing up as much as we did with Robin's story. But no, they had to condense it into like 5 pages.
And there was also a member on OroJackson, I totally forgot who, but they posted a picture of the same panel, the same flashback, when in Rebecca's perspective, Riku wasn't there, but Kairos wasn't there. But in Kairos' perspective, Kairos was standing right beside her. So it also shows that the whole thing with the toy forgetting. And there's also another member, again I'm forgetting names, sorry, you guys get the credits, who noticed that there's a queen of Dressrosa as well, Scarlet and Viola's mother. When Rebecca was born, she was present there as well. These are the small things that Oda introduced to us in this flashback as well.
I mean, I personally do like the fact that it was a bit rushed. I'm okay with it because personally, we saw more than one perspective of the same scenario. So even though we were seeing the same thing, we were seeing the different emotions. And to me, there are more things that I'm caring about in the arc going on. But I do see where the fucking the disjointed part of the flashback was, because I was so, I thought to myself, so if Scarlet was dead, how was
Rebecca alive? Yeah, I got that thought as well. It's not only you. I was like, Scarlet really died? And how is this possible? And then it was, oh, it's a fake. Okay, never mind.
I thought that there was a twist to the story, and that one thing did not kill Scarlet, and shit was about to go down. We're about to see revelations.
No. The moment she's like, I will die if I can't be with this man, it shows her dead, and I'm like, and they eloped. That was literally my thought process, and they just eloped. Alright, that's great. Yet another, let's kill off, I'm secretly dead, but,
Yeah, doesn't it make you wonder the citizens could not recognize a princess living in,
Well, I mean, she wasn't really in the town. She was, in this tiny little nook.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And so it's not, and a lot of people honestly don't know what their royalty looks like. Even if they go and they see them, even if they have, like, events where they're watching a speech, the common person isn't gonna recognize the prince or the princess just automatically on sight in most cases.
Which is very nice, because it does follow a logical standpoint, and it actually happens with pirates as well, very famous pirates, so it's not like if you're famous to one person, you're famous to everyone, which I like. And so that kind of ends off the first key point.
Wait, before we end the first key point, I want to ask you guys, how many of you people noticed that King Riku was wearing the same mask as Cobra from Arabasta when he was sneaking behind Vivi, and here Riku is wearing the same kind of mask over his head? It's like both the kings are wearing the same mask, trying to meet their daughter and granddaughter and such. Standard issue king's disguise.
The cloth overs, that's a typical disguise though. In Japan,
even Cobra had the same thing.
I was watching Alabasta on Crunchyroll, because they added Alabasta on Crunchyroll, and I remember this one scene with that guy, and he was just walking with no disguise, and then the king just walks behind him.
And they're like, who was it? Koza's father. He was like, Okosa, or whatever they pronounce it.
Good.
The king. Yeah.
Majesty, what are you doing?
Yeah, Your Majesty, what are you doing here? And then Igaram is like, do you want me to keep a watch on your daughter as well as you? Can't you just go and sit in the palace? And he's wearing the same mask as Riku.
Okay, so we did forget to talk about one thing. My bad. Let's just do this a bit quickly. Kairos' failure rescuing King Riku with his Keyblade and reveal of how he turned into a toy. So, first of all, we get confirmation that this is the way
he lost
Kairos
his
leg, and he did lose his leg. It's not, he lost his leg when he was a human, not just when he was a toy. And we get to see how rushed it was that he got turned into a toy, which explains how Sugar didn't give him a command and how he ran away with Riku and whatnot. Nothing a lot to talk about that. It's just, revealed for information. But did you guys have anything else to add about it?
Riku was just there. He was in the same position as he's now currently, tied up, bloody beaten and stuff. And then Kairos is like totally shocked that is his king, the savior. And even he was like, no, the king can never do what he just did. And the minute he cut his leg, I was like, wow, this guy is a badass. They had tied him with sea stone. And we get a confirmation that he's no devil fruit user as well. So the whole thing is that Kairos is one freaking badass. He just cut his leg and immediately jumped towards Doflamingo. And Doflamingo was like, this guy, he sacrificed a leg. And then you see Sugar, just her emotionless face. And he's turned into a toy. And then immediately Riku also forgets Kairos in a toy. So that was, and he managed to escape somehow. Just being turned into a toy with just one leg, that was something amazing, really. Escaping from Doflamingo as a toy.
Did he care, though? Like, were they chasing them, pursuing them? Because didn't we get, like, before, something about how Doflamingo knew Riku was out, but he didn't search for him or anything until he showed up?
Yeah, Viola had made a sort of a pact, right? Maybe it was after he ran away, but I don't know. Buffalo did say that the toy has run off with the king on his shoulder, Dacian, something like that. So.
Well, it was also, we had that discussion previously over why, he only has one leg. And this definitely answered that question as to why, Kairos only has one leg. It's not because, he lost it in some toy accident or,
we're talking
he's just not in repair. It was, seriously, he when he was originally turned into a toy, he was missing a leg. And actually that probably saved his life, because if you're cutting off your own leg at that point,
he would bleed
not
and die.
really-
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably bleed out, especially with, all the endorphins and his blood pumping as fast as it was. By being turned into a toy, it's like immediate cauterization. Which, if he gets turned back into a human, is he going to still have that wound?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Does he even age as when he turns back? We don't know.
That is one thing that is debatable. Like, do they age when they are a toy, or is he just going to be the one he's 10 years back? That's a big question.
Yep. And now to the second key point, the palace and Colosseum, where basically Luffy is being impatient and wants to fight Doflamingo to get on with the fight. Jesus Burgess' attack are beginning to wear on the floor of the Colosseum. Sabo seems to have either anticipated this or is encouraging this. I'm going with him planning all the shit just because he's Sabo.
I agree.
Rebecca is attempting to fight Monte while being overcome by her emotions. And as a short key point, it's not really going to take long. But what we want to know is basically Luffy's, as always, impatient. He wants to fight. And he's actually listening to people telling him not to go in, which is
surprising.
New.
Rare.
Very surprising, new, and rare. And I'm liking it. He listened to Law for a good while until he had his reasons to not to unlisten and do his thing. And now he's listening to Viola. He's listening to the Toy Soldier, which kind of shows me that.
Well, he listened to the Toy Soldier more than Viola because
then again, yeah,
ignored her previously, making this giant rock.
I was about to say, then again, last chapter, not the last chapter, last scene. So not so much listening, but just
for some reason he's being held back and he's not just rushing out there. So either he's listening to Viola or he's listening to the Toy Soldier, but it's just something new for Luffy.
Good. He's listening to orders, and I like it. So, yeah, Jesus Burgess, I fucking love this dude. He just moves his elbows and he creates chaos with his freaking elbow movement. Just, this guy is crazy. And also, for people who thought that the armor was the cause of the surges, no. It's basically
his elbow.
Something else. Yeah, his elbow, the guy just does this thing and freaking surges of air come out and destroy things. Sabo being so fucking off, it's like, haha, I like it. And then just keeps looking.
He has that smile. That smile, you can't ignore it. And then Sabo is like, Burgess is like, oh, that bastard, what is he doing?
Yeah, he's laughing as a bastard. Yeah. The interaction between these two is priceless to me. I love it. I fucking love it. And
he's the total mastermind. You can tell that was one of his strengths when he was with Ace and Luffy. He was more the plotter, and you can see that come out.
We're seeing it. People are saying that he's struggling with Burgess, and that's why he's dodging a lot. No.
No.
It's
totally the opposite. Burgess is struggling to hit him.
Exactly. Like, the fact that he's dodging, no, I'm not gonna discuss why Sabo is, anyway, let's just move on. Jesus Burgess is extremely powerful, but I do think that Sabo is a bit more powerful because the guy...
I don't think he's so much more powerful, he's more crafty. He knows how to use his power.
No, yeah, but at the same time, because his power comes from his craftiness as well as his raw strength, but he has the craftiness in his side.
And Jesus Burgess is all muscles, no brains.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just like, wahaha, let's go, let's eat some.
That is not sort of. That is definite. That is an absolute fact. Yeah. Akashi said so it's obvious. So, anyway, why did I mention? Anyway, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Poor little girl. Even I felt sad. Honestly.
Diamond is like, I'm the person who shot your mother, and then she's remembering that she was the one who sent her mom to the city because she was hungry. And then she's like, if I wouldn't have done that, my mother would be alive. The whole thing that just comes on you. If you were the cause of somebody dying, especially your mother, and now you've forgotten all about your father? She's the
Well,
only
she
one you
wasn't
remember?
the cause. She was, maybe the catalyst, but she wasn't the cause. The cause was...
No,
but
she's
like,
blaming herself. She's blaming herself, isn't she?
Basically,
Like, she asked for food, and then that's why she died. So, and that's why she said that she isn't hungry anymore.
I mean, I can really relate to Rebecca in what she's like, what she's thinking. How saying something to someone and then doing actions, and then that action and that something that you said causes just tragedy, and you didn't mean it at first, but then it just goes ham, and that stays with her. And I seriously fucking felt sorry for her when she was just knees on the ground.
Yeah, she's
paralyzed
saying that I'm paralyzed. I'm sorry, soldier son. I can't do it.
And crying, and she's destroyed mentally, and I did feel sorry for her. I honestly did.
And the fact that Diamante is just trying to verbally abuse her, it's like,
the guy is an ass.
Yeah, what the hell, dude? Haven't you caused her already enough problems that the whole Dressrosa hates her? You know the reasons very well, and you still try to make her cry. It's like bullying a 16-year-old girl. Where's your pride, you asshole?
And like, the guy makes Bartolomeo look like a fucking saint, so that says a lot. And
yeah. Although Bartolomeo is more comic relief now to me. After the
yes.
oh my god, I'm Ruffy.
Yeah, and I liked his dialogue here. He's like, oi, this barrier ain't designed to block verbal warfare,
The guy, I don't want to bring it up. Just, I love Bartolomeo. I want him to stay with us on panel for a very long time. That's all. I'm hinting it. Okay. So anyway, anything else you guys want to add about these three parts? Especially Riven, because Div and I spoke too much. Riven, do you have anything else to add about these three parts?
Yeah, sorry, I was dealing with a yowling cat for part of that, so I had to mute my mic. I was like, I'm not gonna unmute and have a yowling cat on the pod. But seriously, I definitely think Sabo is planning to destroy the Bobby Coliseum.
Do you think that's a revolutionary plan?
I do.
Fuck yes, yeah.
Because first of all, he was already in the Coliseum.
Yes, he was already in the Coliseum. He already had plans, and Hack was also there for reasons not about the fruit. He was not gunning for the fruit.
Yeah, he's a Revo now, and he was in the Coliseum fight as well in a different block. So it's clearly a plan.
This shit is gonna. I can't wait until Chaos hits the ring and things just really. Tact mentioned earlier today that Sabo could be there for the fruit. The thing is, I think it was just a bonus that the fruit was there, the Marimar no Mi, and the fact that there was a revolutionary there before, like basically a revolutionary being there and present before, and he lost. He was talking about how, all right, so this is the underground world, Koala.
And he was on a then Mushi, and then he got turned into a toy. Then they forgot about his presence, and then Sabo was like, "Weren't we going underground? Okay, let's just do it this way." Something like that. Yep. I'm sure we are going to get an explanation, but Sabo just being there for the fruit isn't the only reason. It's a coincidence. It's all just one big coincidence.
I think what happened is that they had the fruit, and then he formulated plans because, hey, since I'm going to go get this fruit anyway, why don't we just take over this country?
Yo, I was waiting for a very simple answer, and then it went all the way from this to taking over the country. But, alright, so.
Talk about being over ambitious.
It could work with Sabo and Dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon, if Dragon has the ambition of destroying the notion of the world government, then I can allow Sabo to have the ambition of taking over Dressrosa, so that's fine. That's
well, it's, I can just see, Sabo and Koala, and they're sitting there, and Koala's like, so what are we going to do tonight, Sabo? And Sabo's like, same thing we do every night, Koala. Try to take over the world!
I fucking love those two. I'm kind of...
I'm jealous of him because he gets to spend so much time with Koala.
Aww.
The jealous panda.
It's fine, man. It's fine. You're gonna get at least a few nice panels in the future, so look forward to that. I will color one for you. It's gonna be shit, but it's gonna be my gift from you, so you're gonna accept it.
And then he'll force me to make a better one and give it to you instead.
And then, koala set incoming for Divvens. What are we talking about anyway?
Move on to the third point, maybe?
Yes.
Move on to the third key point. The loveliest key point of this chapter. Usopp and Frankie being defeated and Sugar being knocked out. I was planning on an introduction for this key point. Basically, I'm gonna call it the what the fuck key point. It starts off with a huge bang. You go to the next page, you see Frankie just beat up, just destroyed, just everywhere, and you're thinking to yourself, shit, it's actually happening.
Yep.
This thing is over. Frankie is done. Which makes sense,
And apart from Bastille, this was also pointed out by another member. Even Dellinger is there. He's made it there. So Dellinger is there right beside Senor Pink. So there he was up against 3 officers and a Vice Admiral and the Marines. You see the Marines pointing their guns at Frankie as well.
Instead of Lao G, we get Vice Admiral Bastille instead of him. So
yeah.
Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if next chapter we see Lao G there just chilling and talking. I would not be surprised because he already got screwed up with the toy soldier and then Gladius got fucked up by Luffy, and basically if I can't find the toy soldier, I'm just gonna go back to my original objective of destroying and beating up Frankie. So it makes sense. And then we move on to the next what the fuck, and you see Trable and Sugar talking on the Mushi about how everything is being taken care of. Usopp is tied up, knocked out, destroyed. And the biggest what the fuck is when Sugar, I don't know how to word that without me.
It was the coup de grace that she wants to be like, not only have we caught you and defeated you, but now I will kill you by the device that you tried to use to kill me.
Yeah, and return this poisonous ray.
It's the Bond villain moment where, right before I kill you, I'm going to tell you about my entire plan right now, so that inevitably when you get out, you will completely destroy my plan. But it had that same kind of I'm not going to kill you with myself. I'm going to use your own means, and it backfired on her in the ridiculous and stupid fashion I have ever seen Usopp win a fight in this entire series.
Yeah, at least with Perona, he was like, he used a big hammer, fake cockroaches and stuff.
Oh, that was genius.
Just his face.
That was genius.
I loved that fight. I loved how he was pulling out all these random tricks, and he was trying to act like these were awesome, like the 1-ton weight and the 3-ton weight. That was brilliant. This is not brilliant. This is, I'm gonna faint, and while I faint, I pull, a curtain that sets fire to the house.
And it's so ironic because the Flamingo told Treble to quickly get Sugar to the Royal Palace, which I also think that maybe he was planning to turn the others there into toy, but that's another thing. And then Treble was like, no, Doffy, nothing's going to happen to her, even in the worst circumstances. She's fine. And then, the next panel, she's knocked unconscious, and like, Doflamingo is going to be like, you idiot, what have you gone and done now?
He's not gonna speak, dude. Doflamingo is just gonna stand up and
rage.
Take turns. No. He's just gonna start dancing and just
dancing.
Yeah,
dancing. Really?
Dancing.
This isn't Dancing with the Stars. This is One Piece.
Riven, I have this weird image of how Doflamingo is gonna be like that, and I did not know how to describe it with words. Sorry. I don't. This image in my head, guys. I apologize, but I can't really give you this image and describe it in words. But it has something to do with Doflamingo dancing. So let's just leave it at that.
He's gonna go.
Not really, just Spanish style dancing, and then in the middle. Oh, what the fuck am I talking? Anyway, so to review this part and not to quote unquote review this part, because what is that? Okay, I don't know, man. Like I know.
It's one of the most unexpected.
I wouldn't call it unexpected because I predicted it. You predicted it, and other people predicted
jokes.
it. I know, but
even if you predict it because, oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if this happened?
Yeah, we were just like
hope
that.
it doesn't.
And that I didn't.
You hope in your heart of hearts that something better would actually happen.
Oh yeah. I cannot disagree with the fact that it was anticlimactic and, more importantly, in my opinion, out of place. It was out of place. Like, you see Frankie being beat up. You see the last chapter with the speech that Usopp made. Even though it's realistic that he lost, if he lost and that was it, if the chapter ended, I was on a Skype call with Tact and we talked about this and we both agreed on this. If the chapter ended with the page with Usopp just destroyed, that would have been it would have been a godlike chapter. Why? Because this sense of danger and despair would have.
It would just raise a lot. It would be like, oh shit, that's done with. What are we going to do? What's going to happen next and stuff.
But then add another page.
Like another page or another 2 pages that they could have put in the flashback. In which case, it wouldn't have been so disjointed.
The thing is, I mean, the reason why Oda kind of rushed to the flag, we can see this, is that because he wanted to end the whole scenario of the underground world within this chapter. And do you guys think that he had something else in mind, but then he decided to rush it and did this?
No. I don't think that's what Oda did. But I do think that there's something else going on, because when I reread the chapter at least 3 to 4 times,
Dude.
And now just before the pod, I don't agree with the Usopp fans telling that Usopp planned this. But maybe when he got into this situation, there are people who think that Usopp had planned this from the starting, which I'm against.
Usopp can't plan his way out of a map.
Yeah.
No,
he's smart. He's a strategist, but I'm not. He can't plan it to this extent that I'll get caught, I'll get beaten, and then I'll be fed this, and then this will happen.
I'll depend on Sugar just feeding me this.
Forcing this little thing down my throat. That's what. But what happened here is when Sugar puts that thing in his mouth and she's like, and die, then there's this gulp panel. It makes me feel that Usopp actually took that inside willingly, because he could have spit it out. She didn't force it down his throat. She just put it into his mouth.
He was unconscious when she put it in his mouth.
Wasn't he unconscious? Yeah.
He was unconscious already. It was the Tata Babasco.
It's not just me. Yes.
But it was the grape that woke him up. Because he was already knocked out, his eyes were white, his tongue was hanging out, he was dead to the world. And then she puts the grape in his mouth, and then he's just completely awakened, can't help but react, brings him out of unconsciousness and into Ishishi form.
But I do think there's going to be something in the next chapter, because this is typical Oda. It's like the whole Meadows thing. That something is going to be done next chapter that will take this whole WTF situation away. There has to be. This has to be.
There won't be any.
Divvens, I do see, like, me being less confused next chapter, but how do you justify something as simple and as straightforward as a guy being unconscious, and then you feed him something, he freaks out, the other person gets knocked out?
Yeah, we're going to get an explanation for that. I'm sure we are going to get an explanation.
Like, what kind of explanation, though? Like, what sort of explanation can you get?
The fact that Oda has taken such a turn, he must have something thought out. So, I'm just waiting for the next chapter before thinking of too much. Because even I would start hating on Usopp. You know me, right? What happened with him running away? I made my displeasure very clear. But I have a very strong feeling that something is going to be explained to us next chapter. It's like that thing when Luffy came out of that shark that Shirahoshi had. I forgot the shark's name. And then you got a half-chapter flashback of their plan. So I do think it's not Usopp's plan, but there is something which has not been explained to us, which will be explained.
It wasn't completely off-paneled, and maybe there is something that we don't know.
Yes.
Maybe. Yes. Okay, fair enough. But at the same time, I do see a scenario where Usopp is gonna brag about how he defeated the Great Sugar and overcome the just fucking maniac of a tray ball, and he's just gonna brag about it and lie about it. And
you know why? I have such a strong feeling, because no fight of Straw Hat is ever going to be off-paneled. And that's why I feel that we are going to see the whole thing that happened there, and next chapter is going to give us some more insight.
off panel.
But that's not his main fight. I don't think that's his main fight. We're going to see his Shogun is still there, and I'm sure that we are going to see Frankie go out and defeat his share of opponents. It has to be done. Who's going to defeat them otherwise?
Fair enough. I mean, I do wonder what the hell's going on right now with only Luffy and Zoro being the only two fresh dudes from the Straw Hats, and Robin being the toy, but at the same time is not. Wait, Robin is not going to be a toy next chapter. So yeah, so that's
Thank
goodness. That's something to consider. I'm gonna like what they're basically three. Robin, Zoro, Luffy there. Usopp knocked out, Frankie knocked out, and Usopp basically dead. Not knocked out. The dude is dead. He's
not dead.
I know he's not.
Frankie will come down, and Frankie will be beat up far more than Usopp, but he will somehow pick up Usopp and carry him. And you sit there like, really? Usopp, you can't even fuck off.
The Tabasco kills people.
It doesn't kill people. It was supposed to knock her out. They specifically said it was going to knock her unconscious, not kill her.
Mm-hmm.
It like with the dwarves, basically it's extremely painful.
Yeah.
And
well, it's spicy. And
I know.
It's not having it may kill your taste buds, but it's not going to kill you.
It's going to fuck you over.
It'll fuck your
that's
stomach.
true. I'm sure Usopp, if he wasn't unconscious before, now he certainly is 110%.
The dude, after that face, after those snake eyes, Ishi. I'm just going to call him Ishi from now on. Thing is, the guy pulled off such a face. This is the first time I see such a face in any manga, for the love of God. And yeah, so you see where I'm going with this. It's just the guy is done for. He's not dead for sure, but what I'm saying is maybe Frankie does something, but Usopp is not doing anything for the next 15 chapters, at least.
Yeah, it's like that after his fight in Arabasta, he was just carried around here and there, that's all.
Yeah. So, let's just say that, let's speak about Sugar a little bit, because Tact was really focused on Sugar. You know what? I'm gonna do you good, and, I will save that for the Q&A.
Yeah.
Guys, if you wonder why we didn't speak about Sugar's standpoint with the key points, we are saving it for a rather good question, and I'm going to, let's just move on. Anyway, let's move on to the ratings, or rating of the chapter. Start off with Div.
I'm going to rate this chapter an amazing. Purely, the last page caught me off guard, and I still have hopes because I'm keeping hopes for the next chapter. I didn't hate it as much as the general reaction was. There's a lot of differences in the fan base, so yeah, it's expected. With Usopp, it's always that way. But I really, really loved the flashback, and it was wonderful. And Kairos is one of my favorite characters in One Piece all of a sudden now. Just with this, I already liked him, but this one chapter raised him, in my opinion. So I rate this chapter an amazing.
Riven, your thoughts?
My overall rating of the chapter would be subpar. As much as I loved the content of the flashback, the delivery was lacking for me. There wasn't too much of the others, it was really kind of, I need to throw something in to have this mini flashback before the ultimate scene. And to me, it was just it was a cop-out. It felt like a cop-out of how Usopp won. There was no tricks. There was no, I'm gonna come back as Sogeking and save the day. It was, I get caught, I get knocked out, and they feed me things, and my face doing weird things is somehow gonna knock out Sugar.
Okay. So, as far as my rating, I'm gonna do something I just don't... Anyway, I'm sorry, Riven. I am sorry, Divvens. I am sorry, everyone. I am not going to give this chapter a rating. I do not want to give this chapter a rating. I will remind you guys later what my rating is after I see a few more chapters. Because if I were to give this chapter a rating, I will give it a good, just not great, not okay, not nothing, just a casual word, good, and then move on. But I'm not going to give it a good. I'm not going to give it an okay. I'm not going to give it a subpar. I'm not going to give it a bad. I'm not going to give it a godlike. What I'm going to do is I will wait for some sort of explanation courtesy of Divvens, I will wait for some sort of justification as to. Okay, I'm just gonna put it this way. I do like the fact that the progress has really increased, and we moved on from not one but two subplots within this arc in one chapter. I do like that. It's always good to have rather quick pace. I do like that. You know what? No. Out of place in my opinion, but at the same time, I did like it because it ended. Also, in my opinion, it was justified because it's Usopp. He wasn't really going to do anything against Stray Ball. He wasn't really going to do anything. He was going to do some things against Sugar, but then again, Stray Ball was there just chilling. So, but at the same time, out of place. I'm going to repeat this word again. Term, actually, out of place, in my opinion. Misplaced comedy. That
it needs better explanation. Yeah, it needs better explanation.
You can't justify his win by, oh, he's Usopp and he's stupid, and this is what happens. He's the comic relief, and so this is obviously how he's going to win. That's the justification of a cop-out.
That's true. That's a justification I would buy for Buggy, but not for Usopp, because we have seen Usopp.
Not from a guy who trained for 2 years, who gave such a good speech last chapter, and then this.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think that we are going to get an explanation. I just wait for the next chapter, everyone. And
some sort of plan.
This is an eternal hope. Every single chapter, every single one, without fail, ends with us going, well, we're gonna put our hopes on the next chapter.
Oh no, like last chapter I fucking loved it.
No. Well, but, with Usopp, wait for the next chapter. Oh, wait for this. Maybe it'll clear up later. And I'm getting to the point where I want the answers now. I don't want to keep hoping. I want you to give me the good stuff.
Good point. The thing is,
it's gone on long enough of me hoping and hoping and waiting and waiting and waiting.
I mean, the way... Okay, so the exposition with Usopp last chapter, his bravery, and the thread I made explaining the difference in his bravery is there. It cannot be denied. But what can be said is bravery and courage is not enough, and you need to back it up. And he couldn't back it up against Stray Ball and Trigger, which is fine and dandy. But if we don't get some sort of mini flashback with Usopp saying something, planning something, then I'm never going to give this part a rating, because I just don't.
If we get no explanation, even I, as a big One Piece fan, am going to say that this particular thing, I didn't like how Oda took it. I totally didn't like it. If we get no explanation.
It's not even me not liking it or disliking it, because it would be... this is going to sound a bit rude, but it's... Why even care when it ended in such a comedic way? It's like, it's just going to be either you laughed or you didn't. And if you didn't, then by all means. The only thing you get from it is that a part of the arc ended. And that's that. If you love Usopp comedy, if you're simplistic and you just found that face to be funny and that was good, you're good to go, face funny, I'm good, Sugar made me laugh, she made a purr on her face, then that, by all means, you can have your own way of being entertained. But to me, out of place, anyway, we talked a bit longer than I wanted on the rating. But yeah, those were my thoughts. Those were Divvens and Riven's thoughts on why we rated and sometimes not rated this chapter. In my case, we're gonna move on to the Q&A segment. First of all, I'm not gonna fucking bullshit you guys. I completely forgot to make the thread for this week. I was just a bit busy, and even though I kind of planned it, I just didn't do it because I forgot. I simply and completely forgot. It does make me feel good that if there were questions, they were going to be simply the same as last week's, and just things that we probably have discussed, because this was a very quick chapter, as you saw with our review and thoughts and everything. But we did kind of we still have this Q&A segment going by asking a bunch of people on Skype and whatever to give us questions, and we have 3 questions: one from Azrio, one from Black Chaos NL, and one from Tact. So yeah, Black Chaos NL asks, what do you think is going to happen to Usopp? And what is Sugar's fate now? Okay, first of all, what do I think is going to happen to us? The dude is out for a good while. And as far as Sugar, she gone and fucked up, simply put. And it's not like she's gonna get,
A pardon from Doflamingo. Because he isn't.
or punished, or, no.
She was foaming at the mouth. It's the typical foam as we go unconscious for random reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the aftermath of, you know...
She's gonna run like heck, is what I predict. Trying to get the hell away from Doflamingo, because she'll be turned into her own toy.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice. I don't think Doflamingo is gonna... Because I think he cares for her. She's like his little daughter.
It's not a daughter. I'm pretty sure she's like around... She's 6 years old.
She's pretty old. I know.
She's an old little biddy.
I know, but I mean, like, you just the way he treats her, I guess. And why not? He cares for her and whatnot. And you know what? It would be I would not expect Doflamingo to do something, like punish Sugar by all means. But if that happens, dude, I'm up for it. I love evil. I love the evil side of Doflamingo. I've always did. And
well, since this is a shonen, I don't expect us to see that. But I'm sure Sugar is going to be scared. Or it also depends on how long is she going to be knocked out. If she gets back to consciousness, like let's say 20 minutes later, is the effects going to return back, or is she going to be turning them on twice again?
No, they do not.
Well, once it's broken, I don't think you have to start over again.
You're good to go. You don't get knocked down and then someone else like, hey, wake up, quick, and then they wake up like, oh shit, this guy has his arm. It's back to being a human arm. What do we do? We just cut it.
Okay, you know what this makes me feel then? The fact that she was knocked out like this, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't turn back into humans now.
No, they'll turn back into humans.
Wait, what? Divvens?
They will.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't turn back to humans. Maybe the information that the dwarves had is wrong. Maybe it depends on something totally else.
No.
We have a sorry, Riven. Sorry, just go.
No, I was agreeing with you. It's okay.
But basically, what I'm trying to say is we have a firm belief that the Devil Fruit's effect when someone gets knocked. This is this One Piece logic here. When a Devil Fruit effect, when the person who has a Devil Fruit effect ongoing within the world of One Piece or whatever gets.
I know that. We saw that with Crocodile and stuff. But what if there is an exception for this? You know,
their spirit gets broken.
Dude, I don't want. I want to see the chaos already. For fuck's sake, Divvens, why are you making me worried?
No, because the way it has happened, I don't know. Maybe it makes me feel that why is it so easy that she's the most important asset and what the hell is going on? Come on, like something.
That's what I'm telling you, Divvens. It was comedic. It ended in a comedic way, which to us, my initial thoughts were actually good of the chapter, but when I started to think about it, and when I started to hear people's opinions, I usually don't get swayed by people's opinions. I have my own firm beliefs, but if I hear something that makes sense, I would be an idiot, stubborn bastard if I don't agree. So what I'm saying is they have a point, and their points affected my points. And
the fact that Sugar has been a pirate for 10 plus years and that just a face can knock her out, that's also a bit surprising, you know. It's like...
Yeah. I mean, it's not saying that you can't enjoy the comedy, and it's not saying that we didn't enjoy the comedy. It's just saying that
climax to such an important thing it isn't fitting for a climax.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do something. Please, sorry. I think this answers this question, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Sammy asks a question. Sammy, as in me. Divvens, Riven. What is the alternative ending of that scenario that you would have preferred? Divvens, go.
Usopp,
on this.
being Usopp, after his training, how he always overcomes his troubles, somehow overcoming Trebol, not facing him, but overcoming him and knocking out Sugar. Being the hero he is. Being the real hero. You know, not just something by luck. That would have...
Riven.
I would prefer something along the lines of Princess Bride, you know, with the poison. Going, yes, why don't you try, I'll mix these two up and, choose from and I'll have the other. And they're both poison. They knock each other out. You know, something that actually shows that he's willing to sacrifice himself, that it was on purpose. As opposed to this happened, Sugar basically defeated herself.
Alright, so Riven and Divvens have said their alternate scenarios. I'm gonna say mine. Although I really like Riven's alternative scenario. My scenario is basically my scenario would actually be similar to Divvens because I'm the one who said this shit before. Why did I even make you say this before me? Basically, my scenario is Usopp showing us what he's made of, overcoming the odds of Treyball being there and taking Sugar out. Although you can add the two scenarios, Riven's scenario and Divven's scenario, where he sacrifices himself somehow maybe that's a bit too
exactly.
much.
You know, you like how he sacrificed his arm against Luffy when he was fighting with
yes.
him. You know, with the impact that he was like, if I'm going to sacrifice my arm, I'm going to make sure you get the damage as well. And he was like, impact the dialogue. And you know, something epic from Usopp, which we always get something epic, but this wasn't what most expected.
Those are the moments I like him. You know, I've never, you know, it's not a secret that I've never really liked him, but occasionally he has these shining moments that really, to me, make him a part of the Straw Hats crew. You know, those moments where he shows that jewel of bravery or that jewel of, you know, I am
not being
better. You know, I want to be greater than myself. I want to follow, you know, in Luffy and Zoro and Sanji's footsteps. I don't want to be one of the weak trio. And he'll pull it out of nowhere.
He said it himself. I am no longer in the weakling trio, Nami. Sorry, Usopp.
He just digresses. Sorry. He just digresses, and it's painful.
Okay,
because, you know, as much as I enjoyed those moments and I wanted to see him succeed and to become these things, it's just, it's one step forward and then 10 steps back.
I understand, but I just don't know. Like, the way Oda, handles some of the Straw Hats is,
unique.
I wouldn't call it, like, with Usopp, I don't think, digressing and regressing a character when it comes to development is unique. It's just not really something good. I don't want to say. I just don't. Okay, so
as far as to answer his question, Black's question, that what do you think is going to happen to Usopp? He's going to be taken out in a stretcher by Frankie or Robin. That's what is going to happen to him now.
Basically, Black, Jiro, Usopp himself, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to be carried out by something, like maybe similar to what Divvens and Riven said. Frankie carrying him out, or Robin actually, maybe, you know, wings takes him and like just fucking Gigantomano in the air and just breaks the roof.
Or the dwarfs as well. They get an inspiration seeing that Sugar is knocked out. They escape with him. It's possible.
Dude, Robin is about to wake up, so let's just assume that it's Robin.
Yeah. At least she won't be throwing sugars like how Foot said. She won't be throwing stones. That's what Foot said. And Sugar's fate is just, it depends a lot on how Doflamingo is going to react. Is he going to go and kill her? Or is he going to go easy on her because of the relationship they have as a crew? You know, we have seen that he likes his crew members. He did back out for Jorah's safety. So you never know what's going to happen.
When Monet and Buffalo screwed up, he wasn't like, oh my god, you idiots. He just, you know, he basically...
Baby 5.
And also Baby 5. Monet, Buffalo, Baby 5, Virgo. He was sad, even though they screwed up. So, he might not be the heart... He with his crew, with his, like, main crew, he's never that heartless. But we'll just see. Maybe toys turning into humans will just break him, and then he's gonna just fly to the underground world, and then knock Sugar out again for some odd reason, and then go back to.
I would love it if he comes back from this and actually has a victory over somebody. Mm-hmm. You know, that this was just kind of like fallback, but really I'm gonna come back and he's gonna defeat Treble with something random. You know, something like that I would really appreciate, and I'd really love to see from him. It's not that I don't want him to have awesome moments or that I think they're funny. I just think it could be handled differently. and, I expect more from him, and maybe I should stop expecting more from him. Maybe I would enjoy his character if I just never expect anything from him.
No, we all have expectations from Usopp. We all do, even I have.
Tact asks a question. Sugar is an inexperienced member of the Mingo family and an important asset who has not shown emotions so far. So how can someone like her fall prey to the events of the last page? First of all, she did show some emotions last chapter with how she frowned when Usopp was talking. And childish emotions.
She showed that she was upset or feeling guilt of some kind. She did have that emotion. But on overall, he is right that she hasn't shown much of emotions.
But she is known for being emotionless. She's known. I mean, the girl frowned for one panel, and we had that as a discussion. Holy crap! This person frowned. We will discuss this because it's important. That's the kind of character that Sugar is. We don't really see her do these kind of things. And then all of a sudden, was this the contrast that Oda was doing, making sure that she has no emotions, and then all of a sudden, this? Or is she really still rocking the heart of a child, and things like this screw her over, and her experience, if you will, is not really what do you think?
Everyone keeps calling her a child, but in my head, when I see Sugar, the first thing that comes to mind is like the old witch from Snow White, where the queen gets into that witch with the hook nose.
I mean, she does act childish, the way she kicks Sugar, and then, Sugar does not kick Sugar. The way she kicks, Tray Ball and this Shine, and, these very small, bratish, well, she's more of a brat than a child, actually, never mind.
But, I mean, I picture her as I see her as like this freaking old crone. But every time she does something, she's one of those,
very grumpy.
The bratty old, women who, will just run their mouth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe what we saw is not actually what happened, and then, like, Trable is gonna say, oh my god, her child fucking attitude kicked in and she got scared. Like, could that be possible?
Maybe he stepped on her toes.
or that. I mean, it's not really just a childish thing. Like, even an old woman might get scared a lot from that, but it's not really that.
It reminds me a lot of Perona, who was also a childish character, wasn't she?
That face was like, if you put it next to each other, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can see how she's expecting him to die. And instead of dying, he's going, there's fire bursting everywhere, he's bleeding, he's making these weird faces, because she's expecting it's poison, not Tabasco. And so
she smells it as poison.
Out of nowhere.
Dude, I would freak out. I would
be like, oh, holy shit, what the hell just happened?
You would freak out, you would cry maybe, because you got a heart attack almost.
Out.
Yeah, you would pass out, that's true.
It would be like, pouring
my mom would pass out. My mom would pass out. I'm just saying, my mom, I love freaking out my mom, dude. Every time, why am I talking about my mom all the time?
No, Sammy, I think you would term it more of, it's like pouring an entire thing of gasoline on something and then lighting a match.
But there is a thing that Sugar is experienced. She's like,
dude, just tell Divvens. I'm sorry, man.
She has 10 years of pirating, so is it really?
And then he brings that.
Yeah. It's just a contradiction. It's just a contradiction. I'm still hoping for answers, so let's see. I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
Okay, let me put it this way. Even though even if she's a kid, even if she's an old lady, even if she's mature, even if she's not, she still has experience as a fighter from what we've seen when she was fighting the dwarves, and how she was very calm, very collected. And what I'm trying to say is that caught us off guard. It was very comedic, and it was out of place. Just okay. Is that that's my answer?
Yeah, that's a good answer. Indeed.
That is my answer. Tact. Hey, okay, I'm gonna say this, bro. If you're listening to this, hate on the situation more than the characters, if you can. If you can allow yourself to hate on the situation more than the fact that you hate on maybe Usopp or Sugar. Cause her freaking out is just, it's a thing that happened. It's not gonna fucking downgrade her character to the point where she's nothing. She's just absolutely, useless. And Usopp, the guy was knocked out. You put something in his mouth that is extremely the hottest thing in One Piece, in terms of, spice. He's gonna give us a good face. And then he did, and just hate on the situation. The way Oda portrayed that situation was out of place. And the thing is, explanation or not, we're gonna move on with the bet later on, because I don't think we're gonna get an explanation for something so comedic, in my opinion. It was just, the guy was knocked out. The guy was unconscious. That's, our second question. Our third question, surprise. This question that Div and Riven don't know, because I got this question midway through the podcast and I forgot to put it in the script, but it's a very simple question. Just,
good job, Sammy.
It's a cool question. Sometimes it's cool for the question before you say it. It's just, it feels nice. But Azriel, Azzy Boy, asks, what do you think will Kairos' fate be at the end of this arc? Dev, go.
Okay, I theorizing this inside my head myself, and I was planning of making a theory thread as well, that Kairos is going to be forgiven by the masses for his whole murder thing. Viola is going to play an important role with clearing out the name of Riku and the whole situation that happened, because everybody feels that King Riku was responsible for the murder and fires and stuff, and everybody hates Kairos as well. So this all is going to sort out once Dressrosa comes to an end, and Kairos is going to go back to his old position, even without a leg. I'm sure he's going to be one of the greatest soldiers of Dressrosa, because he's still going to be, in my opinion, he's going to be his old age again. He's not going to be elder. He was just going to be the same age when he was turned into a toy. And without his wife now, him only having a daughter, he's not inclined to live specifically with her in a house so far away. They do want to live together, but I think Rebecca is going to move back into the palace, and Kairos is going to be one of the best fighters and guards ever of Dressrosa.
So you're going with the route that, the opposite route that I would like. You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna go with this route, because I'm starting to really like the character of Kairos, and I would not.
Oh, you're thinking that he's going to die?
Okay, wait. Just wait. Just chill. 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 chapters ago, before we saw more of the toy soldier, I was thinking that the toy soldier is going to die. But after seeing the emphasis on the character of the toy soldier being Kairos, his flashback, and the importance of this character in the future of the series, I don't think he's gonna die any longer. He's gonna live. And to be honest, I would not want him to die anymore. Cause for the plot, in my opinion, 5 to 6 chapters ago, the arc would have had a more of an impact if a character died, and Toy Soldier was set up to be that character. But after his flashback, it changed. It changed, and it took a different round, in my opinion. But at the same time, even though I wouldn't like him to die 6 chapters ago, I would have still wanted him to die for the plot purpose. But now, I don't want him to die anymore, and I don't want it for the plot, because the guy is voiced by fucking Takamura, and that voice has to fucking stay in the anime of One Piece, because every time I hear it, I fangasm. So just that, as well as the fact that Kairos is apparently more of a badass than I thought. The guy actually, especially the last chapter, he showed, cause he rocked this one-dimensional aspect of him, just hatred and sadness, sorrow, and just didn't show any sort of emotions. But then again, it was just 6 pages or so. But with this chapter, we see a more lively side of the character. We see how he is as a person, how he thinks of himself as for what he did. We see some comedy with him. We see the interaction between him and Scarlet before he turned into a toy, while he was turning into a toy, after he turned into a toy, and it's just his fucking badass moment when he cut his own leg just to smack Doflamingo with the sword. That was fucking
the point that even Doflamingo was surprised. That was the
you saw that question mark. It's like,
Yeah.
damn. When you surprise Doflamingo, you're doing a good job because the guy is highly amused, but at the same time, he predicts everything. Like if Whitebeard tilts islands, shit, this guy is crazy. I expected this so. But this guy cuts his leg off and then jumps ready to slash you. I myself really like that. It made made the character of Kairos more than I thought. So
it's like what Zoro was planning to do when they were stuck in Candle. He's like, let's cut our legs off and then go fight them. But Kairos actually did that here.
Yeah, this is true.
And the guy actually, like Zoro was trying to, and because he was bleeding, but Kairos did it right away and just kept going. Like he had airtime, dude. Like that panel was epic.
Yeah.
And to answer your question though, in a short manner, he's gonna have an important role. He's gonna redeem himself for the country of Dressrosa and its citizens, as Divvens said. And yeah, just the whole gist of that. What do you think, Riven?
I honestly think, well, at least what I want to see happen is that Rebecca becomes the ambassador for Dressrosa and he becomes her bodyguard.
As long as she's not a Straw Hat, I'm good to go, dude.
No, I mean, I think either Kairos will end up becoming like an ambassador, going to the world government to kind of further Dressrosa's cause and the trade and all of that, or he'll end up being, Rebecca's guardian.
As the princess, as she's yeah, I do. What are your thoughts of, Riku would be the king because he's young enough to be the king now. He's not going to die anytime soon. Okay,
Riku will be fine.
Kairos
and then
becoming the king.
Viola.
I was thinking of Kairos becoming the king because he married his eldest daughter, but then again, the eldest daughter is dead and not alive to the public anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if Kairos and Rebecca just vanished and lived happily ever after somewhere else.
I don't think that they'll really go off and live because I think Rebecca's starting to really feel more of what Vivi did, the I must help my country kind of vibe.
Yes.
I'm getting that a lot from her.
See, I told you guys before, but you didn't agree with me. But
no, I don't want her compared to Vivi at all.
But she's giving off the same vibe.
More of the I want to help my country versus I want to go explore or I want to go and just do nothing. I think she has more of that idea and that kind of principle. Her and Vivi are completely different in my head.
They're not in my head, but yeah, keep it going. Yeah.
But, I see her wanting to do that and wanting to help in her own way. And I see him trying to, as he can't really do too much, as a captain of the guards or anything because he has one leg. As a human, it's going to be a lot harder than a toy. He can't just hop on a skate.
Is he gonna
get a mechanical arm, mechanical leg maybe? From Frankie. Frankie is already a fan of the toy soldier. You never know what Frankie can build. He has rebuilt his whole body out of metal.
One question.
It's true. If he gets a mechanical leg Edward did in Fullmetal Alchemist, he becomes Fullmetal Kairos.
Fullmetal Kairos.
In 5 years, Fullmetal Kairos.
Spin-off series.
Brotherhood.
The brother? What the? And I was done. I was just swept in with the. Okay. No more titles for Kairos. The Brotherhood of the. Am I about to give an assassin's? Okay, Tact would like this, but I won't do it anyway because it's just odd. But.
So you should do it.
No, I'm not. Anyway. Question to you guys. Just leg or not? Do you think Kairos is going to have stay one-legged or not?
Yes.
As in, he's going to stay one-legged?
He might get a mechanical leg.
No, I mean your opinion.
Oh.
Just a strict answer. Do you think he's going to end up being, the plot is going to not give him an extra leg, mechanical, whatever, wooden, whatever, or do you think he will have a mechanical leg just to feel more good about, him losing his leg 10 years ago?
Well, he's going to need some kind of leg to balance because he's no longer a toy, and humans don't balance very well on one leg.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether he gets a peg leg, that would be kind of cool. I think he'd look really rugged and manly with a peg leg.
Damn.
Just
All right.
saying. He would.
I agree.
Then
So,
Please.
at the end of this
for-
series, we see Kairos as strong as an admiral with just one leg.
the peg leg. He'll be like oh my gosh, Zeph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That has got my interest now, like Zeph, yes, okay. I totally agree with Riven now.
Okay. I would want him to have a mechanical leg just because mechanical, I think you two agree with me that mechanical leg would be so fucking badass.
Yeah,
So
and
you're
frankly being...
more for Full Metal Kairos as opposed to...
Yes. I'm rooting for the Full Metal Kairos because, dude, if they give him that title, oh my god.
Full Metal Kairos of Dressrosa.
Oh, Dressrosa, that just makes it, no, just Full Metal Kairos. Pirate. No, what the fuck am I saying? Anyway, so, I do think he's gonna have an extra leg for the plot because just, yay, your country's back, everything's good to go, now hop on to happiness. It's just weird. I want him to fulfill, like, just have, a proper way of walking, because he's been skating for 10 years. I just want him to walk properly just for once in these 10 years. So, is he gonna... Okay, so I don't think he's gonna die. No. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's very, very, very unlikely.
If he dies, it'll be very sad. Very, very sad.
If he dies, it won't move the plot along, so there's no point.
Imagine him dying, and then Rebecca regaining her memories, and then realizing that he's dead. You know how painful that'll be? I don't want that to happen.
Riven did mention something proper, though. Like, what is the purpose of him dying now?
Yeah,
Like, Luffy is there. Like, why would you kill Kairos? If Luffy wasn't there, then maybe, yeah, sure.
Well, no, it's just, Oda uses death very well.
Very.
He uses them as a purpose, as a stepping stone, You have a lot of people who
I don't want to say
Ace
this.
as a character was only there to help Luffy grow.
Mm-hmm.
And his death is the keystone, and that could only make him grow because we learned about him as a character beforehand. Every death in One Piece has a point, and it has a turning point for somebody in the Straw Hats usually.
I am looking for a death in Dressrosa just to make it more epic. Now, what?
Well, it doesn't need a death to make it more.
I mean, it's my opinion. I mean, I whenever an arc has a death, in my opinion, I remember it much better, and it just has a more impact on myself. So that's just that's the way I roll. But with Kairos, I'm starting to see less reasons for him to die. Especially after
what is like all the Rebecca for Nakama bandwaggers are going to be like, Kairos is going to die and she's going to join the Straw Hats. So if he dies, it's going to be bad. So I don't want him to die for that.
I was about to say this.
Sometimes every once in a special while, everybody lives.
God damn it.
Especially in One Piece. When dwarves get squashed and live, I'm sure Kairos is going to live. Unless he falls from a stair, that's the exception.
This is the end of the podcast. We have reached a conclusion to the Q&A segment. Only 3 questions this week because of my incompetence, but you know what? Just take it as it is.
It's not his incompetence, it's just... That's Sammy. It's just Sammy. And sorry for messing up names as well. The whole thing, It'll take me some time to not mess up the names.
Alright. So with that, we end the podcast. I was going for a short podcast because I've noticed that I've gotten people telling me that when a podcast is longer than 2 hours, they don't focus as much as they would want to. So I'm going for less than 2 hours, and I'm going for significantly less. I don't know if I achieved that, but I do think with the chapter being very short.
We'll achieve it eventually. We'll have 1 hour OJ podcast. We'll get there. We certainly will.
Well, yeah, it's just a goal. I'll keep it in my mind. And thank you guys for listening, and good day.
Thank you, Riven, for joining us in last minute as well. And bye-bye.
Screw you, Tax. Screw you, Cap. Screw you all.
Good night and good luck.